Welcome to Mike's Boats and Bivouacs. We're at the Bush Museum, Cafe, and Factory. Let's check it out. Now, if you're in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, about a 30-minute drive, and you're at the Bush Baked Beans site. Now, this site has a cafe and restaurant at it, a store where you can purchase things, and a museum that talks about the history of the Bush family and how the baked beans came about. So you see from the very beginning of the company and what they did at first, and then through the transition into Bush Baked Beans as we know it today. Now, the company originally started in 1898 by A.J. Bush. He opened his first general store and a tomato cannery. So originally they weren't involved with baked beans. And then in 1908, A.J. Bush incorporates Bush Brothers and Company as the business began to grow and flourish in Chesnut Hill, Tennessee, which, as I mentioned earlier, is near the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. By 1934, the Bush Brothers started selling pork and beans. So this was the beginning, 1934, of the transition from the original cannery to a company that is focused on baked beans. Now, Condon Bush was the grandson of A.J. Bush, and he was president of the company for about 25 years, and he really is the one who took the old family baked bean recipe and pushed the company forward towards the pork and beans and various baked beans that moved them away from being a cannery and focusing solely on the baked bean business. So a lot of this transition happened under Condon when he was in charge, and that was around 1969, 1970. That's when they started to base a lot of their products on their mother's secret recipe. And then from doing that, they increased their sales from 10,000 cases to 100,000 cases. And by 1971, just a year later, they reached close to 1 million cases. So this really is what transformed the company into what it is today. Now, the museum is in the original location of A.J. Bush's company general store. So that is, the location of the museum and the cafe. And if you look across the street, you can see the farm, the original farm of the Bush family, and it's still in their family today. They do allow some tours of the property, I think around Christmas time, to see the Christmas decorations, but typically you can't tour the plants. Of course, most people, when you think of Bush Beans, you think of Duke the dog and Jay Bush and the commercials that they had done, which were very successful. One of the interesting things about that is that Jay Bush had to audition for the part. They weren't sure if they were going to use an actor or one of the family members, and he had rushed there right after his shift at work. So he struggled a little bit in his beginning, but the producers saw something in him that they thought would really be appealing to the public, so they went with Jay Bush for the commercial. Now, the Bush family did have a dog named Duke. However, the dog that you saw in the commercials was selected for the commercials and not the actual Duke the dog from the family. He, I guess, was a little too rambunctious, maybe, for the commercial scene. So they did pick a different dog. But you can still see him used many, many times today in commercials and rerun commercials. And of course, more recently, you saw that Peyton Manning joined Duke the dog and Jay Bush for a commercial. And that was, I think, back in 2023, that commercial was recorded. So, Duke is still around and he is making his appearance known with many celebrities. And for the music lovers out there, if you've ever seen the duo Sugarland, Christian Bush, the half of that duo, is the great-grandson of A.J. Bush. And he had mentioned that he no longer eats baked beans because he grew up on them and he had them nearly every day. But if you check out a music video from Sugarland, you'll see he is a master musician and has been quite successful in the music industry. Now, the Bush Company has a number of different brands, some of which people probably don't realize that the Bush brothers own it. But it's Bush's, Bush's Best, Bush's Showboat Pork and Beans, Blue Lake Cut Green Beans, Tony Dog Food, Tony Dog and Cat Food, and Dubon Premier. Dubon Premier sells canned vegetables in the Louisiana area. So they have expanded by acquiring some other companies. Now, as the company grew and the need for more office space occurred, they actually moved the headquarters to Knoxville, Tennessee, but they maintain the museum and the cafe in Chesnut Hill near the original area. Part of their farms were acquired by the Tennessee Valley Authority when they started their electrification process. So they did lose part of the farms and had to buy others. Now, to go into the museum and view it is absolutely free, and there's no charge for parking. So this is an excellent place if you have a bunch of kids, you want to take them. They can see this, and then I strongly recommend that you have lunch or a snack in the cafe, because the cafe really has great food in there, and you should experience that, and the prices are really reasonable. Now, if the cafe is busy, you just give them their name and you can go tour the museum and they'll call you when it's ready. They have a variety of food, but one thing that I would strongly suggest is you try the baked bean pie for dessert. I think it'll surprise you. It's really, really good.
Hey, we really enjoyed our time at the Bush Baked Bean Museum and Cafe, and we strongly suggest you put that into your itinerary if you're in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. It's about a 30-35 minute drive over to Chesnut Hill, Tennessee, where the museum is. It's free admission. It's a great learning experience, and you gotta try the baked bean pie for dessert. Hey, look, if this video helped you, consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps me out a lot. Also, ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and give the video a thumbs up. That helps it be seen by a wider audience. But more important than all that, go have some fun out there. Thanks for watching.